Hi, everyone. This is my name is Jason. I am the owner and travel butler of Travel Simplicity, a boutique travel company in Pennsylvania. And I have the distinct pleasure today of talking with a good friend of mine, Carola. Carola is one of our local travel butlers in Chile in South America. So, Carola, welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. You were just mentioning it's a beautiful sunny day here. I have a little bit of shade I'm under, which is nice, so I'm not getting burnt, but I can enjoy the atmosphere.
It looks like a really nice day. In here it's getting clear. It's been raining in Santiago, so which is really good because we had a really dry last year. So like the whole last year it's been really dry. So we were all really happy with the 2 days of rain we have had.
I'm sure that's good for the plants and all of that.
Yeah, for all the hills actually, for well water, and yeah, and for well hopefully for the skiing season.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm completely forgetting about the fact of the different seasons. You cross below the equator, and all of a sudden the seasons flip.
Yeah,
So you're going
yeah,
into winter then.
we're going into winter. It's been a weird autumn actually because it's been really warm hot autumn until like last week, when it started to be a bit more colder, and we had a couple of really like gray days, and now we had some rain, which actually is great. So we're happy to have rain.
When you mentioned to me that the rain, because of the rain, do you have snow too yet?
Yeah, because Santiago is just located on the slopes of the mountains. So I'm well, maybe later I can show you. I'm kind of still charging my computer, and so I'm inside, but then I can go outside and I can show you the mountains and how they are like snow capped now.
Oh, that would be beautiful if we have the opportunity. Otherwise, we'll do it another day, and we'll have to show people the snow-capped mountains, especially when it's getting warmer here. I
Yeah.
think people are ready to be done with the snow here, uh, but it's neat to be able to see that other places of the world are different right now. So I had asked you to
Mhm.
share some stories of your country in Chile, and so I'm excited to see what you have for us.
Okay, yeah. I do you want me to start sharing my screen?
Yeah, I think you have some pictures, right?
Yeah, I have. Let me
And I have
uh,
just for people watching, I have no idea what she's going to show us. So we'll find out.
you have to allow me to share my screen.
Oh, all right. There we go. There you go.
There it is. Okay, I have selected a couple of pictures, but we're gonna start with this one. Um, Here it is. Let me. Do you see it?
It's not, no, not yet.
No, you can see it. It's
No,
I.
I
Mm,
saw the small version of it, but I don't see
Let me see. Cause let me try it again. There.
there you go. Beautiful.
Okay.
Wow,
So
incredible.
yeah, that's Torres del Paine. That's like the massif. So when you go to southern Patagonia and you want to visit this emblematic national park, this is one of the view that you get on the way to the park when you start seeing the massif, um, coming like from Puerto Natales, by the east side of the park. So in here we have the towers that are the three famous towers. This is called the Almirante Nieto. These are the horns, and this is the Paine Grande. So I'm showing this picture because for me, like, um, I've been like in love with Chile like since I was like from maybe from like when I was like 17, the first time I traveled like with my school, like classroom, like when we are 17, we do like this trip all together, and most schools, they do it to the north of Chile. So when I went there, like I got amazed with all the different sceneries. Like most of my vacations, like family vacations, were always to the south of Chile. But the south of Chile, talking like between 8 to 10 hours south from Santiago. As you know, Chile is really long and narrow, and Santiago is kind of in the middle. When we talk about the south, we normally are talking about like the Lake and District region. But then when you start like getting to know more the country, you realize that the really south is this, southern Patagonia. So I start traveling with.
So Carola, what is Patagonia? I mean, it's a region, right?
Patagonia, it's a region that it's shared between Argentina and Chile. So it depends who you talk with, mainly, where it starts, like up north where it starts. I would say for both countries, there's like, when you look at Patagonia, like as a definition, it says in Argentina, it's from Santa Cruz River south. From Chile, it's like from Puerto Montt area south. For me, actually, Patagonia starts where you start finding gauchos that are like the cowboys of this area. Okay. And where you start like eating a lot of lamb, and where you start like moving from one place, or originally moving from one place to the other, in a horse, stopping in little like outposts. This was the way like that people moved 100 years ago from one place to the other. Like, I don't know, 100 kilometers, you were stopping like at least 5 times in between, or 4 times in between, in this little outpost where you sleep and then continue. So it depends a bit like who you talk with, what they're gonna say, where it starts, Patagonia up north. But really, when you think about Patagonia, normally you think about Torres del Paine or the Calafate town where Perito Moreno Glacier is located. So when you think about Patagonia, you think about glaciers, mountains, also like this steppe, like the flat steep that it's all around one of the Argentinians area, and then in some areas of Chile. But at the same time, you have the fjords. So I guess people are starting to change their idea of Patagonia, and maybe originally it was just gauchos with their sheep and horses just going from one place to the other where they were having a lot of lamb. Right. But now, like Patagonia, in most people's mind, it's a lot of nature, and it's hiking, and it's horseback riding, and maybe sailing. So yeah, Patagonia is this triangle at the end of South America, just before like the Drake Passage going into Antarctica.
That's just before you end up going to the end of the world.
Yep. So I want to show this because like Patagonia for me was the beginning actually of how I started working and living, traveling and tourism. As I was saying, I loved to travel when I was like a teenager, then when I was like in university, and like in my mid-20s, I was always like traveling through Chile or through South America, a bit of Europe. But the thing it's like, and probably it happens in a lot of other countries, but in Chile, it happens a lot that you travel a lot abroad and you don't really get to know really good, like really well your country.
That happens here too.
It happens, yeah.
That happens here too, yeah. A lot of us don't know our own backyards, but we might know other countries. So,
and it's always like and sometimes it's also like cheaper just to get on a plane, go to another country, and stay in an all-included hotel, for example. And a lot of people in Chile do that. I didn't that much, but actually until I was 28, I didn't know this place. I heard a lot about it. I had a lot of friends who had moved to this area. It's a 5-hour, well, it depends. It's a 3.5 or 5-hour flight. It depends if it stops in between. So it is far away from Santiago.
I don't think
So
most people understand how long it is. I mean,
it is,
that's a long flight, you know, and
it's a
you're not
long
talking
flight.
about a drive. You're talking about being in a plane that long.
Yeah, it's a long flight. Yeah, like by car, if you do it like straight, I would say it might take like stopping for overnight at least 2 or 3 days. Mainly because you have to go into Argentina in some points because you have the southern and northern ice fields. So actually, the country is divided like it's divided by the ice fields in a moment, and there's no highway in between.
Wow.
And I hope it's never a highway in there. So the first time I visited this place and I saw this image was when I decided to move there for working as a guide in a hotel. I would say that's how everything started for me. And when I like stood the first step here and saw this, I got in love and fall in love totally, and decided I want to spend like probably my whole life like exploring this area. And I lived there for 7 years, moving like on winter time back to Santiago or traveling around. But I lived there for 7 years working as a guide. So I don't know the whole area, but I know a lot of it. And yeah, that totally changed my mind. I started doing a lot more hiking, a lot more traveling. I started climbing. And it's really interesting how sometimes just getting to know like one destination could make you change like your whole life and like your way of living.
That's one of my favorite things about travel is how it changes you. You know, well, even this, right? I mean, you and I originally met in Colombia,
Yeah.
and you know, become friends, and you know, my clients ultimately will have the same pleasure of getting to know you in some way, some form or fashion, and it's just it's so much more than just a place. It's so much more than just even a picture, a beautiful picture. It's people, and it's really special.
And it's and it's like it's really cool how all these places made you like get to change and know other places and other like realities. Like I the other day I was thinking when you told me about like, hey, let's do this chat, and I was like, okay, what were we gonna talk about? And I was like, okay, yeah, at least I have to tell people like how I started. um, I feel I'm pretty knowledgeable about my country. Like I know a lot about the country. I have traveled through a lot of areas of the country. I still there's still a lot of places in my bucket list, and it's interesting because last 2 years ago I was living in Spain for a year, and I realized like everyone thought when I left to Spain, everyone thought I was gonna stay there. And it was so like interesting to see how I was missing Chile so much that actually I changed my flight back a couple like of weeks because of a trip. And that's the next picture I want to show you. I have to stop sharing this and start sharing again. Let me see. I should have had the pictures already open. My apologies.
No worries.
Here. Let me see. I guess I have to share this and then open it. No. Yeah, so sorry. Now it goes. Can you see it?
There. Wow. That water is just such an amazing color.
It's amazing. This is one of my favorite places. Like, okay, Torres del Paine, it's like which is your favorite place on earth? It's Torres del Paine, especially because like my 7 years living there and how it changed my life and way of living and way of traveling and anything.
Sure.
I could be talking about that like for hours, but actually this is one of my favorite places in Chile. And it's this was the trip why I came back earlier from Spain. So I was doing a master in Spain. I finished the master and I was supposed to stay traveling for at least 3-4 weeks, and then I had and I was coming back like in mid-December to Chile because I had a race. I do trail running races.
Okay.
So I had a race, and that was like my ticket back. But a couple of friends who I had a project with that it's called Runology Project, we decided to do this trip on late November. So I changed my flight and came back for this. This is located in a Parque Patagonia, which actually it's a new park. It's how you say, was born through the mix of two reserves. One, it's the Heinimeni National Reserve, which this place, it's located in the ex-Heinimeni National Reserve, and Valle Chacabuco Reserve, which originally it belonged to Doug Tompkins. I don't know if you have heard about Doug Tompkins. Doug, it's because he died a couple years ago. Doug was a naturalist from the US that came to Chile and Argentina and bought a lot of lands and created different like private parks. And actually now, because of like the parks he created, there's this whole route that it's called the Patagonia's routes, Patagonia's National Parks routes, because what he did, or he wanted to do, and actually was Chris Tompkins, his wife, who did it at the end. He give back to the countries and to the government the places he set up. So probably the most beautiful, amazing, and well defined and with all the different details that in parks that we have in Chile are the Tompkins Parks, which are amazing.
So the first thing is I have a feeling there's some people that are wondering if that was actually Photoshopped, but I believe that color of the water is really that color, isn't it?
I can share like I can share a video of this place, and you're gonna see that there's no Photoshop, and actually that's probably not even as real as it is. And nearby this small lagoon, there is a lake that it's called Green Lake because of the color of the water. It's emerald, totally emerald. And before doing this trip, I thought that every picture I saw of the park was Photoshopped. And then I had like all my pictures and I was looking at them and I was like, oh my God, they look Photoshopped. And then when I uploaded pictures, everyone was, okay, how much filters did you add? And I was like, I had none filters. And so I guess that's
the only time I've ever seen water that was similar in color is when I've seen water that was like from glaciers, that was like fed by glaciers. Is that why the water is that color?
Yeah, actually you can see in here, there's a glacier up here.
That's what I thought, because I've seen the first time I ever saw water that was anywhere close to that color was in New Zealand, and then I saw it again in Iceland, and it was always because it was a river or a lake fed by glaciers.
Yep. So actually, you have the glacier here.
Okay.
And it is falling like through here, like the water. So this is a really small lagoon in the path. We had like tons of pictures in here because it was like so beautiful. And that day, that was the first day of this trekking. We were hiking. In this picture, we had been hiking like for probably 8 hours. we were super tired.
That's a lot.
Um, and like I have to send you or show you like the video of this trip, because it was 4 days hiking, it was more than 70 kilometers in total.
Wow.
But the interesting thing about it was that it has two rivers, so you are crossing the rivers all the time. So we were really lucky with the weather, because it was really, really sunny and like hot every day. This was like already around 7 p.m. So that's why I'm a bit more covered. So it was really funny, because in my backpack, like I had hanging like a pair of Crocs to cross the rivers. But actually, after the second crossing, I was like, okay, whatever, like let's go. So actually, my trail running shoes were totally wet, and at the end, like it was really good that like the guide which we did this hiking with, he suggested like bring 2 pairs of sneakers, because they're gonna get wet. Um, so it was really funny. And I wanted to show this picture because this was the reason why I came back from Spain, and this is the reason why I'm totally like in love with my country. And it is because like you have these places where no, like just so few people have been. Like it is, we have this still pristine this like areas. I know you do have too, like in the States you have tons of national parks, and probably a lot of them haven't been too explored. But what I like about Chile is like we have at least 20% of our territory is like a national park. So you really can do these things, and this is what really like motivates me to keep on traveling and keep on like getting to discover like new areas and new places in the country. This is not an easy place to get to on compared to the previous picture that you get on a car and you are able to see that landscape from a car. Actually, this you have to walk or you need a helicopter. But like for really adventurous people, this is one of those places that like you really want to like add into your bucket list.
I can see that is absolutely beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you sharing that with us. Do you have one more that
Yes.
that you can show us?
Yeah. Let me think which one of these should be. Well, I guess this one. You still see the previous picture, or
I do.
you're?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here and this one.
Oh, wow. You look like it looks like you're up pretty high.
It is actually. We were here like this. Actually, in here, well, in this picture you can't see where, but this is the river where the campsite is located.
Okay.
So this is a really it's a steep way up hike. This is what we call the Chilean Yosemite park. It's called Cochamo. And I wanted to show this picture because if you look at the t-shirt, it says ology in there. So that t-shirt, it's from Ranology. That it's the project I have with 2 more friends. And it's a project that is just, it's like for us and our friends. It's not like that we have like a company or anything. We just like realized that we love traveling and that we love trail running. So we decided to start like this project where we were trail running different locations of Chile. And actually we went to the States as well once to discover Utah, which I'm in love with. But like so we started like just creating this calendar where we were deciding to just grab our vacations days and go trail running to different places of Chile. The main idea of the project is to go to places where that are not that known, or if they are known, like try to discover or explore the more unknown trails of that area. So for example, when we went to Torres del Paine, we didn't like actually get in the park. We explored like the surroundings of Torres del Paine, and like places with San Pedro de Atacama, we did the same. We didn't visit like the main highlight sites. We just explored like some more out of the box like places in the area. And this was the first trip, and we just repeated this in March with a group of 13 people with diabetes type 1. That trip was sponsored by a medical brand that like we talked with them and sold like the project. But I wanted to show this first one because like, yeah, that's what I like to do. And even though I would love like to be every day doing this, and probably this is what I miss the most of being in quarantine and being in my apartment in Santiago, is not being able to just jump on a plane and go hiking or running, or just like taking a car somewhere else and go like in a road trip, stopping in this like amazing landscapes. But I wanted to like to show this because like also it is a bit like how you take opportunities in life and how you live those opportunities. Like the reason why I came back like from Spain 2 years ago was because it was one of the trips with my friends we were doing. And it is a way like that I've been exploring the whole country in a different way. Sometimes we stay in really nice hotels, sometimes we camp, sometimes we rent a house, sometimes we go with guides, sometimes we go alone. But it is this like energy of keep exploring and getting to know these places that then it helps you also to do your job like better. Because actually like nowadays there's a couple of lodges in a nearby valley of this one where you can actually like anyone can visit this valley now, like just grabbing a helicopter from one of the other lodges. Like you don't need to like trail run 12K to get to the base of this, or like it's like it's easier. And I guess that I wanted to show the original, like the first picture, because that's how everything started. Yeah. And at the same time now, like 12 years later, this is how like I try to spend my vacations, like traveling with my friends, trail running, getting to know these amazing landscapes. And if it can be Chile, it's the best. And if not, like we try always to add one trip like abroad each year.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I love how unique each mountain and each place is. I mean, they're all, you know, each one of them that you showed was a mountain, but they're all different and they all look different, and there's different colors in every one. And I just think that was beautiful to see. And it's really lovely to follow along with you, because I know a lot of my clients, they like to be active, and some of them might take the helicopter instead of trail running for 12 miles or 12 kilometers. But I have other people who, in fact, one who I know you and I have been talking about recently, she's one of the people that probably would join you and would go trail running right back into that beautiful part of Chile. So thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. And I guess like I just showed like pictures of Patagonia because I don't know, I'm just so in love with Patagonia. But if you want to see like the contrast, like maybe I should have chosen one like in the north, in the Atacama region, or maybe like diving in Easter Island. Like what I like about Chile and about like me with Chile, it's like how I love like just exploring the country and getting to know all these places that work for different people. Like
Well, we'll
it's
have to
really,
do that. We'll have to do that another day. I like that idea. We'll have to
I've
do one
loved it.
on Atacama and maybe even some of the cities and talk
Yeah.
about some of
We
the
can
other.
talk about, we can talk a bit about Santiago. Um, yeah, and
I'd like that. Well, Carola, thank you very much.
well,
Thank you
thank you,
for
Jason.
speaking to my clients and sharing a bit more about Chile.
Thank you. I hope it really motivates a couple of them to come and visit. And just remember, like, you don't need to be a trail runner and be going hiking like for long hours. Most of the places I showed you are able to get like in other ways.